Welcome back to round two of the TCG Spring Fling. First deck we have playing today is Kyle on five color Psychotog, notably not Growatog.
Yes, he is purely leaning into this white blue in his main deck with the diamonds and City of Brass being his only way to make that black mana for Psychotog, which I think is a little greedy. You should probably be playing one black fetch just to grab that single swamp out of your deck so you're not locked off playing the Psychotog.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of interesting. Usually, these blue, black, white Psychotog lists are on the meddling mages, so I don't see those here. But I guess Kyle is going more in on the Psychotog plan. So if you're playing a lot of these instants and sorcery, you can fill up your graveyard more quickly, and you can push for game. All right, so here we see Matt Linde on Survival Opposition. So this deck basically tries to get a lot of threats onto the board with survival by chaining root wallas. Um, and then once it has all of those threats, you either use your opposition or your Tradewind Rider to turn your creatures into like a board lockdown almost by either returning them to the hand or tapping them down. So very cool list. And as you'll see in this game, it's also very adaptive too. Um, so yeah.
Fun fact about Matt Lind, he is the reason we have gold border cradles. He took a cradle deck to Worlds in 1999, and he won first place in Team World in 1998. It looks like the Birds of Paradise are from that very deck.
Wow, that is such a flex.
Yeah. It's like Kyle's not happy with this starting seven. Going to six.
We see the classic turn one bop.
Does Kyle have the classic turn one swords? No, he does not.
Or that's the perfect counter to jump on Bob.
It looks like Kyle is keeping the port in the pile.
Get a lot of extra mana here for Matt. A lot of extra mana.
Yeah, it's turn three, and he can already pull up Mystic Snake and have some leftover mana
Yeah.
to that cradle with his name on it.
Playing with his own cradle. Can't hate that. And some Arabian Nights City of Brass.
Oh,
There we go. Mystic Snake on the gush. Oh, but
Nice
counterspell.
spell. Yeah, with that two floating blue.
Little unfortunate to have that natural order face up.
Yes. I wonder what he's gonna grab next turn. He now has a white source or black source, thanks to that box diamond for Kyle.
Yeah, going back to the mana base, I mean, it is true that Mox Diamond is vulnerable to being destroyed and City of Brass, vulnerable to Wasteland, but he only needs black mana once to cast that Psychotog.
This is
The
true.
majority of his deck is blue, so I guess just kind of splashing to get that one impactful spell off, and then um, doesn't really matter if you're on blue mana, then you just have your blue mana to protect your threat.
Yes. And choosing to eat the birds instead of that Thinhorn Elf with the natural order. I don't know if that will matter later on when he's starved for a different color source, or he's just trying to put pressure eventually with that Thinhorn.
Yeah, I think that's the rationale behind it. Because if Kyle's able to get like Tog out, it you know complicates things.
Yeah, that's interesting that Kyle countered the Mystic Snake when he didn't have a counter spell for the natural order that he saw. Because
Yes.
I don't know if any of you have cast a natural order into two blue mana, but it's the best feeling in the world when it resolves, and you're very shocked and bewildered.
Okay, Kyle matching Matt Lynn's acceleration to an impulse.
I think he's just digging for a Tog now.
Yeah, even if he finds it, Matt has just gone so wide that
Uh, He's gonna need that wonder.
yeah.
But he still has the one bird to block in case he does get that wonder. Choosing to shuffle him away. Did not like what he found on top. Guy's Cradle makes the deranged hermit echo cost so much more bearable. Ooh, swing wide. Not pumping the root wall off.
Unless he had enough mana to do that on upkeep from the cradle, but I don't think so. Well, yeah, he should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the players did not use the life total dice this game, so kind of have to figure it out a little bit for ourselves.
Right. But I think it's safe to say, oh, well, yeah, there's the scoop. Yeah, with these control decks, especially in the survival matchup, uh, if you're not able to counter some of those key cards like the survival or the natural order early, it's kind of hard to like come back from that position unless you're playing board wipes, which um, with Hog it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, so Kyle, with access to all those other colors, he gets to really have some good tools, like those pyroclasms, and then call the herds just to have some blockers so he doesn't get beat to death by a bunch of 1/1s.
Hmm.
Matt not happy with this 7, going to 6. So he's going to 5. I don't
Yeah,
see this. Yeah, I don't
I
see
don't see
this.
any lands either. But he's thinking about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's that? 2 elves and
Wall of Roots.
well, yeah. If he gets one land, he's in there. But
Yeah, he decides against it.
probably fair.
Okay, is that one land
I see
convert?
one. I
Two
think I see a
lands?
forest. One forest below. Oh, yeah, there's a coast in there as well.
Okay, it's a keepable hand, but it doesn't look very exciting.
No,
Although that gold war card I think is a survival, so
and he
um,
put away one of the. He put away a Yabamaya coast.
beautiful promo, City of Brass.
Both players' decks are very nice.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like if you're going on the play as the control player and you're able to answer that survival immediately, it turns it into an entirely different game. Because if you let that thing resolve, you just start getting so much advantage.
Yeah, and Kyle is even playing. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 annuls, so that even if he's on the draw for a game 3, he can still hit that survival before it hits the battlefield.
Right. Outing the board with fire ice too.
Kyle's in a great spot here. Looks like a City Brass and I think an Anger in Matt's hand. Hog making its first appearance of the match, and it appears to be foil. So he's setting up his mana for a gush here.
This would be a great spot for an Armageddon, but I have to imagine he sideboarded them out against the deck with all the mana dorks.
I would be my guess as well.
Right, passing here.
That's interesting. I guess not wanting to trade 1 damage for 3.
Who?
All right, so Matt gets at least 1 survival activation.
With the squee already in hand.
Kyle has the 7th edition foil disenchant. So Matt is going to pitch the squee. And I guess he can, since he played out his land, he can get a root walla and discard that.
Yep.
Now I wonder what the last creature is going to be. It doesn't have enough mana for Hermit, but okay, trade with Whack Rider. That's good.
Yeah. Which you can use here because we got the 2 root wallows.
His list isn't on Anger plus Yamamaya Granger, is it? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. If it is, I don't think it comes up in the match.
That's another brutal Fire Ice. And looks like Kyle's taking the opportunity to get in for some damage.
Gotta love a 6.5 points of damage you get off a gush.
Yep. Right. Wall of Roots into Squee, making that Tradewind Rider live. I was thinking whether to attack here. If he does swing, Matt could block with something like the Wall of Roots, wait for it to pump and then bounce. But then Kyle could replay it to like regain some tempo at the cost of, exiling some cards, but it looks like we're passing here.
Yeah, either way, it probably isn't going to matter because if Kyle attacks and Matt blocks with the Wall of Roots, Kyle probably isn't even going to pump the Psychotog,
And just
so
assume it's going to get bounced.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle really needs a swords to get out of this.
Yeah, the Aquarian Ranger is going to make the Trade Wind Rider even worse.
And there's the swords. And using it to its own ability to dodge the swords.
I guess now Kyle can counter it on the way back down.
Or at least have one turn to swing in with the Psychotog and see if he can clean up some of the creatures. Matt decides to block. That is 2 blue over there, I think. Matt choosing just to jam it. Make him have it.
Yeah, it's not going to get any better for him
No.
because his only other option would be to, hold up a Mystic Stake plus the Trade Wind Rider. So he kind of just has to jam it.
And it's not looking good for Kyle. Having to opt off one of those. Have to double opt off that 2 mana. A wonder here would be, I think, fairly close to lethal. if it was one of those cards he saw off that gush and double opt.
Yeah, because we've gushed so many times at this point.
Yeah. Not seeing a wonder. And Matt getting his squee back at his upkeep.
Is this another psych talk?
He can't bounce both of them.
Looks like we have a little life total discrepancy.
They were using the dice. This wouldn't have happened. Kyle with 2 threats. I think a full 7 in hand and quite a few in the graveyard.
But if Matt can deploy some more creatures here, thanks to the Queer and Ranger, he could bounce both Psychotogs.
It looks like his hand might be.
I think he's just playing out an Uktabi Orangutan just to have a creature. Yep. No Mox Diamond to hit.
Damn.
Double bounce.
So the Tradewood Rider is buying Matt a lot of time, but he needs to find. Ooh,
Oof.
can't bounce anything.
The Wall Brutes have enough counters on it too.
Oh, and Kyle has the swords. Wow. In the blink of an eye, Matt's board was decimated.
But Matt has a really good play here. Because he can play the Meddling Mage.
Name Spike.
Dog.
Yeah. Does it resolve? Hopefully, all those cards in hand. He has a counter. Yeah. No. That's brutal. I think I saw another Psychic Dog.
Yeah, he's gonna be shuffling that pile. Nope.
Choosing to keep it on top. He just got removal for that. Meddling Mage.
All right, Fact or Fiction.
Not the best pile there.
How would you guys split this one?
Uh,
I see Island City and all. Okay, Diamond Tog.
I don't know. I might just do a null and 4 cards, but
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
just so you can hope to top deck survival.
Really wanting the diamond there.
I guess Kyle is looking for a. Well, he already had another.
He already has the diamond.
Unless he drew it this turn.
Yeah.
He probably wanted a pain-free rainbow source.
Oh, making Tog mana, but
Nope.
oh, another pyroclasm. Brutal.
Ugh.
Matt playing around by not taking that last counter off or taking the counter off that wall roots.
Yeah, playing around it as best as
You can with
yeah.
everything in your deck having one, two or left toughness.
Morph, what could it be?
Apart from the diamond, I'm trying to think if Kyle has any relevant targets for the vigilante to hit. Oh, it looks like that's what we're going for.
Just using the Wall of Roots mana on its way out. Yeah, I could see the Vigilante and the Orangutan being pretty important because those diamonds let Kyle cast Pyroclasm.
Yeah, and that Tormod's Crypt is going to be brutal here in a second. It's like both players are seeing some side cards. Matt electing to just get it over with now.
Yep.
Yeah, don't pass the turn and let Kyle pump his togs. Even though Matt does have blockers. Yeah, Tormod's Crypt, it doesn't feel very good against Psychotog unless there's like a Wonder in the graveyard, but it's probably a necessary evil. It did get a lot of cards there.
Yeah, because you kind of have to use it before they start
Oof.
swinging.
Seeing an AK afterwards.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
Yeah, we don't know Matt's life total there, but I can't imagine it was that low. I don't know that he was in danger of dying immediately to those togs, so it might have been an early concession, but when you're just, top decking and your opponent has two Psychotogs on a handful of cards, you might want to say, hey, I need some time for game three.
Exactly.
And I think it's also because that Squee as the repeatable blocker was costing him life from the city. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
you can only do that for so long.
The old school Matt who play Riffle Shuffle.
Hey, a Tangle Wire in the opening. That's really good against Kyle's deck.
Absolutely.
Tangle Wire is just insane in this format in general. Like, if you don't I mean, I guess Kyle's on Diamond to sort of, put more permanence into play, but against a lot of like these control decks or even stuff like Enchantress that doesn't have mana sources outside of lands, it can really lock them down early.
Absolutely. Can't tap your enchantment to Tangle Wire, so
Exactly. Yep.
you kind of just have to take it and roll with it.
In this matchup, it's something that either Kyle has to counter, or if it resolves, then it allows Matt to resolve his survival of the fittest, or perhaps opposition that can just kind of run away with the game.
Mhm.
Yeah, it either gets absorbed with a counter spell, or lets you have a turn to play out your threat. Because I don't believe Kyle is on days or foil. So
He was drawing cards in response to spells without any mana up, like he
had it, but
yeah.
I never saw. I don't remember in his deck list if that was there or not.
All right, baiting the counter spell for a Tangle Wire to get the survival out. Although I don't think Kyle had much of a choice here, because if you don't
Yeah.
counter it, yeah, it's getting played next turn anyway.
Now it could be disenchanted, but what are the odds Kyle has that? I think one of disenchant and white mana to cast it. So, good start for Matt. Okay, Matt decides not to get anything off survival that he wants to play immediately, so perhaps going for end of turn, grabbing Squee and madnessing a couple of root walls, perhaps.
Put the pressure on him, see where you can get going before an eventual Psychotog comes down.
Okay, Kyle found the Mox Diamond, so now that unlocks any non-blue spells in his hand he might want to cast here.
Pay for two.
Hmm? Oh, and in the first hand Matt drew, we saw a Collar of the Claw. So I wonder if that's going to be the grab here.
We're going for the root wall of chain.
Yeah, Collar of the Claw could be good, but then you're just kind of playing into a Pyroclasm, whereas these Root Walls, you can at least leave up mana to pump them.
Yeah, that's true. Getting the Uktabi for the resource denial plan. Great swinging for two. Mystic Snake, interesting.
Swinging in with the team here to start chipping away at Kyle before he can establish a board presence.
Okay, so what just got countered there?
I believe it was a wall of root. Yeah, so
Interesting. The Waltons would have let Matt hold up the Mystic Snake.
scary card with survival too, because you can do it once during your turn and then during theirs and during yours.
Dimitri's our resident survival expert.
I play Survival Infestation, which kind of like this deck, but black.
And I play opposition without survival because I'm a hipster and I don't like winning.
True.
Like we can see the strength of survival in this game where, he just was drawing some lands and mana dorks, but that survival just opened up all this action for him.
All right, board wiping with Pyroclasm.
Choosing to pump one of the root wallows to make sure he still has a threat.
Where's he getting? If you get an Antuco here, you could pop the diamond immediately. Yep, that's that's what we're going for.
It really seems like Matt's playing the control deck today.
Honestly,
Yeah, one of the great things about Premodern is that uh, mana is an axis that is really interacted with, and also it's not just free for Kyle to play a five-color deck with access to all these great spells. There is a cost.
Yeah, with no fetchable duels, you really have to take that into consideration when you build these decks. That wastelands and most people are main decking some form of enchantment or artifact removal.
continuing the pressure.
Now Matt gets to activate the Ruwala and also hold up the Mystic Snake. Now, looks like Kyle's going for a swords here. Do we think Matt will Mystic Snake that?
Might as well.
Yeah, I think Kyle is kind of far from casting another Pyroclasm,
Ooh, letting it resolve.
Okay.
but yeah, it would just be a disaster if Kyle just rips another Mox Diamond and has another Pyroclasm.
You know, it's impressive that Matt's been able to do all of this game without Gaia's Cradle.
Absolutely.
Okay, Kyle's got another swords in hand. Wonder what he's thinking about here. Ah, found the disenchant for the survival.
Smart to wait for it on the activation there, because then okay, forces out the Mystic Snake.
Yeah, Matt did pick up his deck, but just looked like a little miscommunication. He didn't realize that Kyle had done it in response to the activation, perhaps. So, huh. Oh,
All right. Wow, what a
well,
match.
Absolutely.